Over the last few months, in fact, I'll try to pull up on the computer, BCBAs have grown up as a separate field trained in specific applied behavior analysis and behavioral techniques with autism. So I think this grew up in part response to the fact that a lot of PhDs coming out didn't have adequate training to do ABA therapy. And with evidence-based therapies, you know, I'm very fortunate. I went through a graduate program and went through several fellowships where I was trained in evidence-based therapies. But if you're out there in practice, it gets very expensive to go back and train in all these things. And so trying to go back and do all this work becomes quite difficult. ABA, or applied behavior analysis, is focused on discrete trial teaching. And that has been found to be the most efficacious. The most work has been done around ABA techniques as a method of intervention. Now, because mental health diagnoses have been treated even after parity in a lot of ways, separately under insurance policies, insurance companies were not paying for ABA. More importantly, because of the increased numbers in autisms, you're finding fewer and fewer people trained in ABA. So the BCBA, and behavioral, does anybody remember what it stands for?
Behavior analyst, I think.
Say it again?
Board certified behavior analyst.
Thank you, board certified behavior analyst, that's it. So I never remember what the acronym is. In Florida, there's grown up a board with respect to specific competencies, both at the PhD level, at the master's level, and the bachelor's level. And there's a series of coursework, and Alliant has actually a great program which will allow you then to provide the therapy. As a compromise, insurance companies started to look for people specifically trained in BCBA therapy to start delivering some of this as a treatment modality. And what they found is, you know, the insurance reimbursement was all over, depending on what state you lived in, depending on who you talked to on the phone, all of those sorts of things. What they did in California is they introduced legislation that said you've got to pay for ABA. Insurance companies have to do it. And when they first did it, the question was, do you have BCBAs do it? Do you have psychologists do it? Do you have medical doctors? The first draft of legislation said only medical doctors can diagnose autism. I don't know very many MDs who are very comfortable diagnosing autism these days. So, you know, I was a big proponent of let's get this changed. And, you know, the other thing they said is who provides the treatment. Well, they compromised in the legislation, and I believe this was in here and we'll verify it, was that a PhD, I would feel very comfortable supervising somebody in ABA, even though I have not had specific training on my own, because the behavioral principles involved in it are something I feel very grounded in and very comfortable, and I've been around enough people. I have no desire to do ABA training myself, because quite frankly, it's not the part where my interest is. My interest is in diagnosis and doing the differential and where I think I can be the most helpful. Doing ABA therapy all day, every day for 20 kids is not my thing. I don't feel you need my PhD to do that. That's why BCBAs have basically grown up as a field. Again, there is so much demand that we're never going to meet it as a field in as PhDs, and insurance companies can lower the reimbursement levels if they get master's level or BCBA or bachelor's level people trained. So that's where BCBAs came on. If you do a search for BCBAs, you'll see the board in Florida and they'll show you the coursework that's required.